Former Vice President Joe Biden is stepping up his campaign for a medical cause that is very deeply personal for him. He outlined his nonprofit cancer initiative at the Fortune Brainstorm Health conference last night in San Diego. Our Dr. David Agus sits on the initiative's board and moderated the conversation. Biden's oldest son, Beau, died of cancer 2 years ago. He shared with Dr. Agus the significant impact he fears that budget cuts could have on critical research.
You got to be able to do something to give some people some hope, to have a shot.
Speaking before some of the top leaders in the biotech and health industry, Vice President Joe Biden stressed the role of the government in scientific research.
There is a point that comes, usually later than sooner, when the congressional party of the president works up the courage to challenge him.
He took aim at President Trump's proposal to slash billions from science and environmental agencies, pointing out that even members of Mr. Trump's own party spoke out against the cuts.
I think our Republican colleagues have decided there are certain things that are just not negotiable. And I think the science, the EPA, I mean, the idea that we're gutting the proposals to gut the EPA. I mean, come on, for Christ's sake, for gosh sakes. You know, no, I mean, it's just bizarre.
How are we going to get the next young generation excited to make a difference here?
I think they are excited now. You're starting to see a rising tide, of considerable rising tide. But what worries me is that, you know, if we just for 1 or 2 years make significant cuts, we'll lose a whole generation of young people who would have moved and migrated to the area of dealing with anything from Alzheimer's to cancer, whatever. So it matters.
Obviously, 2020 is not that far away. Would you consider, and I know the answer is no, but would you consider, you know, going back in the ring?
I have the bad habit of answering questions. And I'll be completely honest with you. I had planned on running for president before Beau was diagnosed. Now, the election's over. Donald Trump is president, and I'm disappointed, to state the obvious. But it was the right decision for me not to run. And I don't plan on running. But everybody says because I won't commit that I will not run under any circumstance, it must mean I'm running. I'm doing nothing to run.
Dr. Agus joins us now from San Diego. Good morning.
Good morning, Charlie.
So when the vice president answered that question, what was your sense of what he intends to do?
You know, I mean, he has an intent right now to make a difference. He's going to work on his diplomatic issues, particularly some world issues, and especially on his cancer initiative. But I could see in his eye, and we had talked before we went on stage, I mean, that he's considering it. And, you know, obviously there's a passion there and there's a humbleness there. When he spoke, there wasn't a dry eye in the room. You really saw people leaning forward and listening.
What's achievable in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, the hope is they can accelerate clinical trials, data sharing. Just in this 1 year that he was doing his initiative, there have been 20 different government agencies that are sharing data and working together, and that hadn't happened before. So there's going to be new progress, and he's put together people to make that happen, break down barriers so that the advances in cancer can move forward.
All right, Dr. David Agus, we thank you for joining us this morning. Thanks a lot.